Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's September 23rd, 2023, and today I thought I'd give you a 2-year update on a piece of equipment that I purchased 2 years ago, about 2 years ago. So as you may recall, I purchased the Takushi TL12 V2 track loader, a pretty big heavy-duty track loader, which has worked out beautifully. But that isn't what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the prime attachment rock and root grapple here, which is fantastic. I'll talk about that, give an update. Since when I've had the equipment for a couple of years and I've really run it through the ringers, I really like to give you my not just my first impressions, but what I think of the equipment. And the piece of equipment is on here all the time, and this is I'm going to call it a bumper guard, a rear shield, whatever you want to call it. Precision Armor makes these, and you can find them on Facebook. I found them on Facebook. I saw another YouTuber had this on his Takushi. He had a full height one, so they make them all the way up to this height here, so it's like 3 square tubings high. I opted not to get that. I thought I'd have the same protection, but I was worried about my rear camera, my backup camera, being obscured what I want to see. And right now this has worked out great. My backup camera, I could see everything well. I had thought about putting some mesh around here too to keep any sticks and twigs from coming out through. And I have one little ding in there. It didn't affect the radiator, but this is to protect the piece of equipment. Now, if you've been following the channel for a while, you know that before this track loader, I had a Komatsu CK35-1, comparable in size, a little bit older piece of equipment. And when I got it, the whole back door was completely bent in, and I had to straighten that out so that it would work. But someone had banged it into a tree, and so I banged this thing into multiple trees. So I'm working in pretty dense forest, so sometimes I got the big direct drive brush mower on the front of this, and I'm trying to inch my way around into the forest and just take down the material that I want to take down, the small trees, the ash trees and all. And I want to have minimal effect on my oaks, my sassafras, my maples, my hickories, and so on and so forth. I only want to take out those ones that are being affected by the emerald ash boring insect, or that have been damaged by the grapevines or whatever. So I'm in the forest all the time, working with either the grapple, the front, the bucket on it, and the brush mower. Those pieces of equipment, I'm in the forest all the time, and this has saved my butt. If you look at it, it's got all sorts of rub marks from me banging into trees and so on and so forth. A little bit of rust on it as well. So again, it's Precision Armor. You can find them on Facebook. They're absolutely fantastic. This is a bumper that swings out pretty easily. There's just a couple of pins on this unit, and this bumper swings away, and then you can get access to doing your service on your equipment. Now, there are a couple of options for it. One is you can get the D-ring hooks here, and they're probably fine. Have I used them yet? No. I did get the 2-inch receiver for hauling if I need to. I didn't, but the one thing I did get was the winch. So this is a Smitty built winch. You can get that as an option when you order the equipment. This is either you can use the cable attachment to it, so you can stand out with the remote and use it, and or you can use a wireless remote as well. So you can actually be inside the piece of equipment. If you're stuck, hook up the winch, use the remote control, the wireless remote control, and pull your equipment out. Now, I'm pretty careful not to let that happen very often, but it has happened and it has worked out. But the main reason that I think that is so fantastic is it protects the equipment from getting damaged as a result. Now, if you go up to a tree that's got a branch that's sticking right out above that level, yep, you're going to do some damage. So I'm pretty darn careful, but even though I'm careful, I find myself in forested areas that are pretty rough, and this has saved my butt. So a shout out to Precision Armor. I think they make a fantastic piece of equipment. I know that they were planning on expanding their line to work with other pieces of equipment. I think they work with JBL, Takushi, and I can't remember the other brands, but if you search on Facebook Precision Armor, they really do create a really beautiful product, and it was super easy to install. I had some deviations in mind that made it a little bit challenging, but it's worked out great. So that's my update on the Precision Armor. I'm going to call it a back bumper for the track loaders. Works fantastic. Absolutely has saved my butt and well worth the investment. And I do recommend getting the winch on the back of it. I thought about putting a wire mesh there to protect from brush going through and dinging the radiator, because there's always branches and brush that stick out. Just like with a grapple, when you're working with a grapple, you never know when something's going to come up and stick through. As scratched my front door here. There's a scratch in there. Right there's a scratch. So, not sponsored by Precision Armor, but I do want to give you an update. Having that for a couple years. They make great quality equipment, skilled craftsmen, and real easy to work with as well. So if you can search for them on Facebook, Precision Armor. They do a great job. Thanks so much for watching. Feel free to leave a comment or ask any questions down below. Take care now. Bye-bye.